What's up, everybody? David Burns with you for another beekeeping video, and I have my wife Sheri with
Hi.
me. Hey Sheri. Thanks for coordinating the colors, and blue was the word today.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Colored blue for the shirts.
Yeah.
And I asked Sheri to join me because I have been inundated with so many beekeeping questions from all of you that are watching the YouTube channel that I put out these videos all the time, and it generates a lot of questions, a lot of comments and questions.
That time of year too.
Wow, yeah. And I cannot answer all the questions. I just don't have that much time in the day.
I don't either.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Well, keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. I try to answer 3 or 4 in every video. So what I've done today, I've invited Sheri to come and read a whole bunch of questions, maybe at least 10 or more, and I'm going to answer them.
All right.
Yeah, let's get right into it, Sheri.
Okay, you want to get started? I had to put my readers on.
Absolutely.
I'm that old now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have somebody, first of all, who says, thanks, Dave. I love your videos. They're so helpful. Started the online classes, and the teaching is great.
Oh, good. Well, good. Speaking of the online classes, you deal a lot with that, and it seems like a lot of people ask questions about the classes. We have so many online courses, and so many people wonder, are they just a one-time course that I just watch once and it's gone? Is it a Zoom meeting? When can I watch them? We get a lot of those questions.
We do. And right on the website, it extensively tells you all that information.
It's all there.
It's all there. There is not another thing in my head that's not on that website that I can add to the discussion.
But who wants to look at that website? I just want to ask you the question, you tell me. You know?
But I still have to type it out and send it to you. But yeah, I mean, it's on there. They're cool because you can view them anytime. And I know a lot of people. Forever. Like the other day, David, I signed up for a master course. And they said, well, you can only do this master course this date and this date and this date. And I'm thinking, oh my, I was only going to give it 15 minutes, you know, because that's the kind of, that's the kind of day I have. I can give it 15 minutes an hour. And I was really disappointed that I couldn't continue that master class. But ours are set up where you do it whenever you want, however you want, 15 minutes here, an hour here.
For as long as you want.
Forever.
Anywhere. Yeah.
And you know next year you're going to want to pull that back out.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to want to go through the whole thing again because you've forgotten. We all forget. You know, we all forget that stuff, but it's always there all the time.
Yeah. So I'm glad you liked the class. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And just to follow up on that, always think about these courses as yours forever to keep once you sign up for our online courses. By the way, your master class wasn't a master beekeeper.
No.
Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, you're going to become a master beekeeper.
No.
Everyone's going to ask, what organization is she going through to be a master beekeeper, you know? So that was about, it was
something else.
Something else. Okay, good. All right, throw another.
I like lots of different things.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
What else you got?
All right, so this person says, well-timed and great video. We just saw our first dandelion down here in Southwest Colorado. And I think we just saw our first dandelion this weekend as well.
Just one, though.
Just one.
It popped his head out, and it got cold, and it went back in.
Yeah, it did. It went. All right, successful 100% overwintering on all of our hives.
Oh, wow.
Good job. We've been feeding sugar syrup. Do you feed your bees?
Do I feed my bees? I am the author of Feeding Bees. I created the whole concept of feeding bees.
and the feeders, the 3-season feeder and the winter feeder.
Absolutely.
That's what we do here.
I am actually speaking at the Eastern Apicultural Society this coming August on feeding your bees.
Oh,
so
feeding bees.
Yes, I feed my bees. I encourage all of you to feed your bees. Really, the only time I tell you not to feed your bees is when you have honey supers on and you're wanting them to bring in nectar from flowers.
Real stuff.
Yeah, real stuff. Don't feed them during that time, but all the other time, you just about got to feed your bees.
Nowadays you do.
Nowadays you do.
I don't.
Especially where we live.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though.
All right, so this person is talking about, you must have talked about splits.
Okay.
At some point. And they said, what if you don't have a place 3 miles away to move that split?
Good question. I did talk about splits, and some people wonder, I can't take them 3 miles away. And we say that because, you know, Sheri, as you know, if you move your split 3 miles away, all the foragers take a new orientation flight.
Yep, reset their GPS.
They do, and they know where their new home is, and then you can bring them back somewhere else on your property and they'll reorientate to that new location.
Right.
If you don't do that and you move them 10, 15, 20 feet away from the original original colony, they're all going to go back into the original
hive. They are.
hive.
It's weird looking too. They just all stay right there.
They do.
They buzz around like, what happened?
Yeah, where did home go?
Where'd my house go?
Yeah, we would do the same thing. If we drove up and our house was gone.
If our house had blown away in a tornado, we'd still be standing there.
Yeah, think about it. If we came home and our house was gone, where
would we go?
Yeah, we couldn't find it. We would not know where it went.
Yeah.
If you take a colony, a hive in the middle of the day and move it away, the foragers come back, they're not going to go looking for it. They're forever going to stay right there until something changes. So to answer your question, I think I said it in the video that you're referring to. You can lean a chair up against the opening and make the foragers kind of think, oh, something's different when I go out of the hive. Something's different. Put a bush in front of it. Something that's kind of...
tricycle?
Yeah. Something that makes the bees want to take a new orientation
They come out and they go, what happened?
Something's different. It doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
That's one of the ways that I do it. That's the only way I do it.
Yeah, if you have no choice.
I don't take my splits 3 miles away. No, I do this. I do exactly what he's asking or they're asking. I just put something in front of the hive. I move it, to face a building real close where they have to kind of come out and see a building. A lot of ways you can get around that.
Right, but if you absolutely have to have that split, you need to find a way to move it 3 miles and then come back because it may not work the other way.
I've had many fail. Many of the bees go right back to, and then they'll leave all the brood that you transferred over to die in a cold night. So it is kind of risky. Yeah.
It is. It is. All right, let's continue on.
Absolutely.
So here's a question from somebody named Sharp Shepherd. Can you pull frames for extraction from your honey super and immediately replace it with a new one? That way I can cycle through them.
It's certainly fine to do that. It is very time consuming because, let's say you have 10 frames in a super and you go out and you pull one and extract it and enjoy it, but you replace it.
That would take you forever.
Yeah, it would take you 10 times as long,
Yeah, it would take a long time.
But
if you're just doing one,
yeah,
that's what you would do. You would take it out and replace it with another one.
Yep. I've done that many times, like when we have a strong demand for people wanting our honey, I've gone out there and maybe only taken 2 or 3 that were capped over because the other ones weren't. And I'll, replace them, of course, with some undrawn or some already drawn out comb. But yeah, you can do that. It's no problem to do that. It's good.
All right. Mitchell says, thanks for another great video, David, especially the bonus tip. Oh, so this was... He must have watched the 5 tips for installing a package.
Oh, okay.
Definitely going to try that when I add my second box to my new packages this year. As a newbie beekeeper, I'm nervous right now with these cold, rainy days here in Michigan.
Terrible.
That's a big problem.
It's horrible.
And so many people are getting new packages, and they're like, it's 36 tonight. Well, what do I do? Well, answer that question before
It's very hard on bees. Some people are reporting already losing their packages because they install the package, it gets too cold, and the package has completely died. It's terrible.
It is. Oh. And what people don't realize is you have a right to ask for a certain shipping date. Sometimes people don't realize that. They'll say, okay, well, we have March the 31st free. I'm going to ship them. And you're like, oh, okay. And I also think that because we start so many garden plants and chickens early, that people also think you can do that with honeybees. The best time in your area to get honeybees is when you see the dandelions really blooming.
That's correct.
That's the perfect time. Here in central Illinois,
still too early.
It's still too early, and that's why our bees come in the very, very end of April. So that doesn't mean it may not be chilly and rainy then too.
But not as long.
It's not as long, and it's not as bad.
Right.
And it's certainly a lot further than, early April.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything they can do about those bees if they get them too early?
No. The thing about chickens, when you get chickens early, but they're under this heat lamp. Inside your garage or something.
Right.
Yeah, bees aren't like
in the house
that.
Or whatever, you can't do
bees
that.
want to fly. They want to be a part of nature. And so it's so odd that we take bees that are out west or down south to make up packages. Those bees are having a great time in warm weather, on flowers, bringing in nectar, let's say in March, and they shake them into packages and ship them to the north where there's a month to wait for a flower to bloom, and those bees are going to sit there on undrawn foundation for a month in a new hive and have nothing but be jammed in there. It doesn't make sense to me. I think we need to learn to wait a little bit longer.
And you can ask for them to be shipped later. So the rule of thumb, David, is north of the Mason-Dixon line, you're supposed to get your bees mid-April all the way down to late May. But if you're south of the Mason-Dixon line, then you can get them at the end of March.
Yeah, that's true.
All the way through April.
A lot of people are watching.
Not in the north and in some areas, mountains and those type, until much later.
That's right.
In the year.
Yeah, I would say in Illinois, as I've heard many people say this, you really shouldn't get a package before in central Illinois, April the 15th. That's kind of what I've heard people say. That April the 15th is kind of like, okay, we're not out of the woods yet, but we're far enough where it's okay to install
and sometimes it's great in the mid of April.
Absolutely, I know. It is.
But sometimes it's not.
I know.
Well, let me go on with this question because he says, I don't know when to start feeding my overwintered hive liquid. I've researched many websites and that said I shouldn't feed them until it's an average of 50 degrees or higher outside. We're talking about liquid. We're not talking about patties or anything like that. But the temperatures keep fluctuating. So that can be a problem because we see the same thing. 50 degrees is when you start doing liquid. What do? You know, if the temperature is going to drop to 35 tomorrow, but then it's going to be 65 the next day.
You know what? I can play that game constantly over and over again, different scenarios, and there's no good explanation. There really isn't, because the fluctuation is going to be different. But for me, I don't mind feeding them liquid if I know my bees are going to fly that week a couple of times.
In the hive or
fly outside the hive.
No, I meant, are you feeding them in the hive? Or are you feeding them with feeding stations?
I'm talking about like a liquid feeder on top, like we sell. The Burns feeding system, I think, is fine to put on there if they're able to fly a couple of times a week. If it warms up above 50 or 45, they're going to fly and defecate. That's going to help them a lot. If they're not going to fly, it's cloudy, cold, and rainy, I don't like feeding them liquid if it's going to be that way for a week and they're just held up in there. That's too long to feed them. That's hard candy. It's when you feed them then. But I think, like where we're at now, it's safe enough. I mean, they're flying today. It's 63. They're flying. The feeder's on there is going to be fine. It just all depends on where you live, and it's a really tough call to know when to do that.
It's good luck. Okay, David, what method would you use to mark the queen if you were hesitant to grab her between your fingers? Ooh, this is a big question because I don't like to do that either.
Do we have any of those little queen push-up cages? You know, those little blue ones that you can push a queen up through? Not one over there on the shelf. Okay, well, I'll see. I'll try to put a video clip here of me doing that, marking queens here. But there is a nice little device that you actually, well, you still have to pick her up to put her in there, don't you?
Not if you can get close enough to kind of scoop her up.
Oh, wow.
So there's a couple of different kinds of scoopers.
You're right. Yeah.
And you can scoop up in that, and then it's such a way that you can take the...
Wow, that's going to be rough, and that's tough. To do it. Easier for me to pick the queen up than all that. I do have a video where, and I can't tell you where it is, but it's on my channel somewhere in my list of videos, where I show you how to take a queen marking pin and wait until the queen is walking and kind of stops, and then take the pin and sneak up on her thorax and just boop.
Sneak up on her.
I'll try to put that on here. I don't know if I can find it, but you can do that without picking her up. I've shown that video.
You know, and we could talk about, you know, is marking even necessary to begin with? What do you think about that? I mean, there's a lot of people that think, oh, I can never find her. I really need to mark her. But is that always the best thing to do?
Well, I just had a question about that was a giveaway question for an ultimate class. You know, what are the benefits of marking a queen? So those 4 answers were: quickly find the queen, to determine her age, how old she is, to identify genetic lines or suppliers that, you know, they may say, oh, this, sometimes they color code different genetic lines. And then know when she has been replaced, like an Africanized hive or something like that. So what was the question?
Well, those are the pros, but what's the cons to marking a queen?
The cons to marking a queen would be that sometimes they could, not always, find that mark as a strange foreign problem with the queen, and so they think that maybe she needs superseded because there's this strange thing on her back. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I've seen them actually, especially the white for some reason. I don't know what it is, and they'll just sit there and they'll paw at it and paw at it and paw at it and scrape it off.
They do. They scrape the white mark off. In fact, on white years, we don't like to mark queens because of that reason.
Yeah, that's one reason.
Yeah, but it could help a colony accept a new queen if it wasn't marked. Possibly. That's just me guessing, you know?
Possibly.
Yeah, because it doesn't look natural to them.
And, you know, once they replace the queen, which they can do often or not at all, but, you know, she's never going to have that mark again, so you're just going to have to find her again and, you know, put a new marker on.
Anytime they supersede her, you might have bought a marked queen, they superseded, now you don't have one that's marked, and you're going to have to mark her.
And just because you don't find the mark doesn't mean you don't have a queen either.
Exactly. The other reason that having a marked queen is really good is for swarm season, because if you have a marked queen and you think they may have swarmed and you see a queen, but if it's a queen with a mark on it, you know they haven't swarmed. But if you didn't mark your queen and they did or didn't swarm and you see the queen, you don't know whether that's your original queen or the virgin queen. You have no idea. And a lot of people say, no, I know what my queen looks like. No, you don't. You do not. I'm sorry. Oh, no, she was a bright yellow. Well, the next one could be a bright yellow red or something. There's
exactly.
No way to tell. Good question.
Okay, David, what method would you use? Oh, no, I just said that one. Okay. All right, thanks, David, for the video. I always look forward to your monthly tips. I just got through my first winter and all 3 survived. I'm sure your videos had a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, my videos always have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So all you have to do is go out to your colony, open up your hive, and you know how bees can kind of know you're there, like plants. People talk to their plants when they spray them with water.
Okay.
You can talk to your bees, and all you have to say is, hello, colony. I'm a subscriber to David's YouTube channel. And after that, you just have to say, you really need to survive the winter. I watch his videos.
You're going to have him show the video to the hive.
He said watching the videos help the bees. So you got to tell the bees that you're watching my videos, and then they'll shape up and do a good job. Well, I'm glad that my teachings have probably helped you over winter. That's good to hear.
And this person says your videos are not only informative but also inspirational.
Oh yeah. I know I really do feel like there are times that I like to listen to YouTubers just because, not so much the content that they're talking about, but I kind of feel like they're my friends because I see them, they made a new video, I like their personality, and I'll just watch them because it's kind of fun interacting with what they're saying. So I think
like in
that's
the background, you just turn it on, and it's just kind of...
I've done that before.
Just noise in the
background. When I'm driving, I'll listen to a YouTuber when I'm driving. Yeah, why not? Sure.
Cool. All right.
One guy said, oh, it was a B Team 6 member.
Yeah.
He said, David, I really enjoy your videos. I'd take you to bed with me every night. He said, I didn't want to say that on a comment, so we don't want to put that on YouTube, do we?
Yeah, no, you don't want to say that on YouTube or anything like that.
We won't say that.
Yeah. All right. Gordon Dean says, I had stored some extra frames in a tub that had a leak that I did not know about.
Oh, that's too bad.
The wood frames are black with what appears to be mold. So I have had this question a lot this week in the office. Yeah. Can they be cleaned and reused? What about the plastic foundation? You know, what about plastic when it comes to mold and mildew?
A lot of people don't realize how quickly a frame will mold or mildew had honey on it or even brood. I've made a video, and I've been putting it in the comments, where I took a moldy, mildewy frame years ago. I mean, I was like a young kid. And I actually made a video, and I showed, look at this terrible looking comb. It's kind of tore up, it's moldy, it's got either spider webs on it or maybe some wax moth silk on it. We're gonna just put it right in a strong colony and see what happens. A week later, I went back, and you can see it on the video. Beautiful. Yeah, they cleaned it up, repaired it, it was just beautiful. So it seems that, you know, I don't really think a lot of the things that we're seeing are like black mold, dangerous stuff.
Oh no, it's mainly just mildew.
I think it's mainly mildew.
Like you see anywhere when it rains too much.
Yeah, like you see on the side of your house, on the north side of your vinyl siding or something. It's kind of mildewy like that. It's perfectly fine to use and let the bees clean it up, in my opinion. Yep.
You know, I think sometimes we'll take a hive tool and we'll dig out the nastiest parts.
Right.
But the bees will go in there and clean it up exactly the way they want it to.
Sure.
You would not believe how hygienic, and I don't want to use that word hygienic because most people think that means mite resistant, but you know, they're so hygienic in that hive.
They
and
are.
They keep everything clean because they've got a nursery going on and they're raising babies and things are clean in there, so they will take care of whatever.
And you know, we will get some mildew stains sometimes on our inner covers, which I don't use, or top covers, the bottom of top covers.
You don't use inner covers? Maybe you should have a video about that.
We need somebody to make a t-shirt for us that says, I don't use inner covers, don't ask me again, or something like that. But no, I've had frames that have been kind of stained with the mildew color forever, and I don't care. I don't worry about that. If you're the kind of person that you want it all to be beautiful, you want it to look just beautiful wood all the time, and it gets stained with mildew like that, you just replace the frames. If you're that picky about it, you just got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But they're not harmful to you or the bees at all.
They're not.
They'll clean it up.
Good
question.
Okay, so here's another question. This is my third spring as a beekeeper, and I'm so excited to get out there and look at my hives. I fed them throughout the winter. I have 2 screen bottom boards on 2 hives and 1 just a wood bottom board. My 3-year-old hive appears to have wax moth poo on the tray. It's been so cold here in Ohio, and I was wondering when it would be okay to get my hive apart to check for wax moth larvae. I am so worried.
Wax moth poo. So that's the wrong time of the year and coming out of winter to have a wax moth issue. Wax moth is usually more in the summer. They seem to
into the fall.
Yeah, they lay more eggs and they just reproduce more in July and August. I'm not saying you maybe don't have wax moths in there, but it seems really early to have a wax moth problem. You need to find out what's defecating on your bottom board like that. But I understand, you know, wax moths do leave droppings that are like little mouse droppings is what it looks like, but it could be that from July and August of last year. And maybe the bees are cleaning it up.
It could be something.
It could be
different.
Something else, yeah. So
it could be mice. It could be
Yeah.
anything like that. But David, what do people do?
Oh, it could be mice. It could be mice. It could be a mouse in there.
But what do people do when they can't figure out what something is? Who can they call? I mean, it's very difficult to say.
They can call you on the phone.
You know, it's very difficult to see. You know, to answer, you know, something on a piece of paper, but there are people that you can actually call that can come and help you identify, that was the word I was looking for, identify what a lot of this stuff is.
Really? Who can you call?
Well, you can call your bee inspector.
Some states don't have bee inspectors.
Oh, I know that.
Oh, okay.
But maybe you're in a state that does.
And some
your bee club. There's always somebody in a bee club that loves to go out and, you know, kind of help.
Yeah.
You know, help somebody like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or they could join up with B Team 6 and they could send me pictures and I could say, oh my gosh, you have this.
You can send pictures and we can identify them.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of B Team 6, the staff said to me, okay, you're at your maximum number. Do you want to take more? And I think I do. I want to take about 20 more B Team 6 members. So if you guys are interested in B Team 6, look in the description below. It's actually a mentorship program where you can call me or send photos of droppings that are on your bottom board and say, David, what's going on? You know, and I look at a lot of poo. It's like, oh yeah, I know what that is. You'd be surprised how people on B Team 6 will think they know what the problem is and they'll send me either pictures or tell me what it is, and it's not that at all. Some people are really ready to burn everything, and I'm like, no, that's benign. It's no big deal. Keep going.
Yeah.
And a lot of people see dead bees, and they send me pictures of why are my bees dying, and you know, a lot of times people think it's a big problem, and usually it's not. Sometimes it is, but you really don't know. It's good to have somebody on the other end of the phone that you can call. Bee inspectors aren't always available, though.
No.
They don't do that full time. Most of them are part time or just do it after work. So it's a little tough.
All right. Now here's one last one, and this is a question I haven't heard in years.
Oh, okay.
David, thanks for another great video. I have one question. I've heard of other beekeepers clipping a wing from the queen to prevent swarming.
Oh my gosh.
I would like your opinion. I haven't heard that in years.
Oh my.
When we first started back in the 90s, that was a thing.
Oh, it was a thing way back before it started dying.
I'm sure it was way back then, but I'm just saying everybody did, you know, back in the 90s.
Oh my. A lot of people are watching this going, what are they talking about? I have never heard of wing clipping. What the heck?
You do it with chickens.
Oh, that's right.
People
you do
it with chickens.
That's true. Not everybody does, but yeah, that is a procedure.
To keep them from
flying away. Yeah.
Flying away.
Well, here's the deal. I know in the old days they used to clip, and I used to do it. We used to sell queens way back, and I used to have people would say, "I want her back wing clipped."
I want it marked and clipped.
Yeah, marked and clipped. And by clipping the back wing, the queen can't fly. And so the theory behind it is that the queen will not swarm away. And so if they can't swarm with the queen, then they won't ever swarm. So if you have a clipped back wing, then your swarm problems are over. Except it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. I mean, and so...
It doesn't with chickens either.
I would try to tell people, please don't make me clip that back wing because it doesn't help you at all.
It doesn't help, and it's just a frightful thing to do.
What happens is, there's so many scenarios, but even if the queen, the queen doesn't really know that she's supposed to leave, they make her leave. They force her out of the hive. They warm her up. They put her on a diet so she can fly and everything. If you clip the back wing where she can't fly well, she's just going to kind of flutter out onto the ground in front of the hive, and all the bees are going to go back into the hive. The swarm's going to go back in.
But the queen's
going to be left out there to die, so they'll raise a new queen, replace her, and swarm with the replaced queen, unless you get in there and clip the wing of the new.
Right, and so all of that is you're constantly keeping track of what's going on.
Oh yeah,
it's putting it on your calendar and thinking, I need to get out there and clip the wing again.
I want to go on record so I don't get swamped with comments of pushback on this. It could possibly help. It could possibly, in rare cases, work. Like if the queen kind of flutters out, but she can't fly, and she quickly lands back on the bottom board and doesn't get on the grass, then she might walk back in the hive. But most of the time, no, she's going to just go out there and die on the grass. So I don't think anybody does wing clipping anymore. I've not heard of it.
And no one's asked us that for years.
No.
Years either, but that's...
Well, we're going to be corrected on YouTube here. Someone's going to leave a comment and they're going to say this. It works every time.
It works!
I would never have a queen that back wings weren't clipped. You guys are crazy.
Whatever.
We could be wrong. I have been wrong before.
Yeah. 20 years from now, we'll be wrong about everything.
But in my experiences, I have seen clipped queens in the grass many times. So yeah, it doesn't work for me anyway.
All right, so one last one.
One last question.
So this gentleman, his name is Bob, said he's glad to see that you refreshed the install, which I'm assuming means that you had an installation video.
I made a new video not a new video, but I kind of refreshed it, like he said.
Well, it's the same. It's still the same.
There's so many viewers that are starting packages this year that I felt like I needed to walk them through the process of installing packages again.
But Bob says, however, he would never drive a male through a queen cage.
Did you say male?
Oh, it does say male.
You have your glasses.
It does say male. No, it says male.
Does it say male?
M-A-I-L. So he must have meant male.
So you shouldn't.
Why are you driving a male through a queen cage?
Why would you drive a male through a queen cage? Okay. The male honeybee, or it's like, he means a nail. Okay, well, wow.
A nail.
That could go a lot of different directions.
So you must have showed a nail.
Yeah, so I showed this method, Sheri, and this is what your dad taught me.
Oh, blame Bill.
Blame Bill, Bob.
Bob, blame Bill.
But your dad taught me that he said you could take an 8-penny nail, and with the queen in there, you could insert this across the top, and you get to hang it between frames.
Seems like a very good solution.
Unless shish kebab the queen. So I thought I wouldn't have to explain to people that you want to make sure the queen is way down here when you push the nail through there. You don't want to ever get near the queen. Good point taken, Bob. I think you kind of make a good point. Why not take something like a Christmas ornament hanger, hook,
or a bread wrapper hook?
Yeah, something that's less dangerous, maybe.
Oh yeah, there's a
lot of different ways.
You can undo a paper clip and put it in there.
That's true.
Very easily.
But Sheri, I don't understand for the life of me why all these years of beekeeping, no one's made a cage that can hang easily in a new install of a package of bees. I mean, it's just no good way to do it. Here's a common queen cage that people see. It's a Benton 3-hole cage.
And usually these don't come with new packages, but they come when you order a queen from a big producer.
Actually, a lot of companies still use these.
They do?
For packages, absolutely.
Wow, so how would you hang that then?
Oh, you know how to do it.
In a frame. You would just press it in there.
You do.
That's all you would do. Don't put this part into the comb.
Nope.
But it's got to stay this way.
But the problem I have with that, I've used these for years in the past, is when you put it between two frames, it leaves
a big gap.
It leaves a bigger gap.
But we're only talking a few days.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that. Yeah. But the other problem...
Don't leave that gap in there. Don't go off and forget.
Oh, no, people do. People do. They take this out and they leave the gap in the middle. And then they build that straight comb in there. So don't do that.
Right.
Another problem that they're having, I get this question asked all the time. The way this is supposed to be, there's supposed to be candy in this end right here. The whole entire circle is filled with candy.
It's a lot of candy.
And here they have a cork.
Right.
Well, here they have a cork and no candy.
Right.
A new beginner
may not know which
Yes,
side.
a new beginner pulls either cork, they pull the wrong cork, and the queen will walk out too soon. And the other problem is a lot of companies don't put candy in some of the cages anymore.
Wow. Well, that's kind of scary because you have to put attendants in there. And then the attendants would feed her from the candy. Or she'd eventually feed herself if everyone had perished.
She would feed herself
there.
if there was candy in there. But I had a B Team 6 member this week that told me that they got a cage they had a cork on it but no candy. And the supplier said, yeah, when you get home, take the cork out and shove a marshmallow in there.
Oh, wow.
And let them eat through the marshmallow. I'm not real comfortable with that. For many, many reasons, I'm not. The same is true with this. Some people will put a cork in here and no candy and make you put the candy in it. I'm not sure why they're skipping that step. I kind of don't like that. But that's what some people are having to deal with out there, I guess. Maybe it's a little time saver for the producers. Maybe it's a little money saving.
And that's another reason why people need to understand how perishable bees are when they're in those cages. So unfortunately, we have a lot of people who think, well, they'll stay in there for as long as it takes me to install them.
No.
And we're like, no, folks, you got to pick them up when you say so. If they come into your post office, you got to pick them up and get them installed because you never know what kind of situation like that's going on.
That's right. The other thing people don't know about packages and how perishable they are, Sheri, is because when we shake packages, we're shaking them out of real strong colonies. What is the average age of the bees that we shake into a package? There's a lot of them that are, half of their age.
Right.
And there's some of them that are like ready to check out. They're 29 days old when we shake them. So the longer you wait, the more bees die. They die of old age. And the bottom of your cage, if you wait too long, that's a question people ask, can I wait 2 or 3 days till the rain stops? Yeah. Well, the longer you wait, the more bees are going to die in that package. That's just the way it is. 6 days is just the maximum that you could ever wait. Once you install them, once you shake the bees in a package, 6 days later they need out no matter what.
Well, and you don't have any idea sometimes when you get them how long they've been in that cage already.
That's correct.
Because they do need to go, to shipping locations. They need to go to companies. They need to get on trucks. Your bee club truck that's going to drive all the way back from Georgia. You don't know how long they've already been in those cages, so you got to get them out.
I know a lot about the package bee industry, and it's really rare for you to get a package that hasn't been in there 3, 4, 5, or 6 days.
Especially if it's shipped.
Especially if it's shipped. Yeah, especially. Yeah, exactly. So, it's just part of the package bee challenge when you get packages. Install them as quick as you can, but if they do look fresh and they have some candy on board, in their little can, and you could wait a couple of days by spraying them with some sugar water if the weather's cold and all, but best of luck. That's the challenge. Any more questions? All right, Sheri. Hey, I want to encourage people now that Sheri's with me, and since we're both wearing blue, we have a blue book to show you. This is a book that Sheri and I wrote. It's all about how to start beekeeping, It's for backyard beekeeping for the new beginner. Everything you need to know to get started. A lot of good information in here. And Sheri, you did a great job on writing half of it. Thank you. And if you get this copy from our website, we'll autograph before we send it out. So try to get it from our website. You can buy it on Amazon, of course, too. And if you are brand new to beekeeping, are you still thinking about it? There's a chance you could still start this year. I've got a video that takes you through the beginning steps of beekeeping. It's a good one, and you should watch it. Check it out right here. Good video on how to start beekeeping. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.